My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Earning your degree online doesn't mean you have to go about it alone. At Capella University, we're here to support you when you're ready. From enrollment counselors who get to know you and your goals, to academic coaches who can help you form a plan to stay on track. We care about your success and are dedicated to helping you pursue your goals. Going back to school is a big step, but having support at every step of your academic journey can make a big difference. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
John Harvey, welcome to Womar TV. Today, I'd love to talk to you about your martial arts journey. And what I'd love to know is, first of all, what directed you towards the martial arts?
Whoa, many years ago, I was driving around London and I happened to come across the Academy of Karate in King's Cross. So I kept going past this place. I thought, I've got to give it a try. So one lunch hour, I popped in there. I saw the guy that used to be in charge of AMA. I can't think of his name there. And I chatted to him and he convinced me to come and join because I had a long lunch hour, so I used to go on my lunch hour. And that's where I started training with Meiji Suzuki, and the first time I met Bob Breen there, Guru Bob Breen there.
Yeah.
And then Bob took over the lunchtime class, so I kept going. One thing led to another. We used to train weekends. And then Bob decided one day, he said, I'm opening a club in Islington, John, would you like to come along? So off we went to Islington, and we was doing karate for a while there. Good level.
Well, could I just stop with that? What kind of style of karate?
Wado-Ryu.
Wado-Ryu, yeah.
Wado-Ryu Karate. We was doing Wado-Ryu. And then we was training one, I think probably a Tuesday night. And Bob says, we got some guys coming in to show us some weapons. So, yeah, okay. That was okay. A couple of guys from Essex. I've seen them years ago. I haven't seen them since. They showed us some knife defence and a stick. Very interesting. Very good stuff. They stayed behind. We had a little spar with them. And then a while after that, Bob said, I've got Dan Inosanto. We said, who's Dan Inosanto? Haven't got a clue who he was. Not a clue. So the first Inosanto seminar I missed was on holiday. The second one, he came across and Bob said, we're doing it in the hotel. And it was packed, proper packed. And it was like completely different from Wado-Ryu. I mean, Dan was showing us stick, MD hands, locks, takedowns. I mean, he's an encyclopedia of martial arts. So like we're all going, what is this? And then of course we had sticks. Whereas before we was kicking a punch, we now could whack each other with sticks. So it was life changing. I mean, there must be loads of people that's seen Dan Inosanto and said, this is for me. That was it. So Bob kept bringing Dan Inosanto across, then of course loads of guys came across with Kaz Magda, Larry Hartzell. We trained with all these guys. And it was a completely different from Wado-Ryu. Wado-Ryu was sort of, you go along one track. With Dan Inosanto, you could do stick, you could do takedowns, you could do JKD, you could do kickboxing. There was a whole range of things. And I think if you was looking for something, that was ideal because you wasn't just doing one thing. Don't get me wrong, I love Wado-Ryu. Wado-Ryu was a very good fast karate style, and it still is now. Still a good style. Then of course, I think it was 1989. Bob said he went in 1987. They're doing WCAF World Championships in 1999. Said, would you like to go? I said, yeah. I think there's about half a dozen of us went. And that was another change. We saw stick fighting on a different level from what we'd already seen. Very similar to Dan Inosanto, but on a different level. They do stick 7 days a week in the Philippines, whereas we was just training twice a week, doing a bit of stick. Excellent. So we did the tournament. I think Gary Derrick got world champion. We all had a great time. We all had fun. We met loads of different people, different styles. And then I think a few of us realised this is what we want to do, just do the stick. Other stuff as well. I mean, because when I came back, I was still teaching kickboxing, and I was having guys going in the ring every month, competition-wise.
Going to stop you there. Were you calling it Jeet Kune Do, or what were you calling it?
No, because I was still with Bob at the time. We were still with Bob at the time I was with Bob up until 1993.
Yeah.
I was teaching in Luton, I was teaching kickboxing, I had guys going in the ring. We're still doing stick. We used to have a stick class and a kickboxing JKD class. We're still doing that. And then it wasn't that I left Bob, it was just we was going out different ways. I said, Bob, I'm concentrating now on the competition side of the stick because I enjoyed that. I took part in it, became world champion, and some of the guys wanted to do it. And then I think in 1992, I can't remember if Bob went in 92. I know he went in 89. And then in 1994, Bob said he was not going, but we had a team. So me and Pat O'Malley took the team for the Philippines, and every 2 years we went to Los Angeles, and the Great Britain team was successful. We won loads of medals, and I think on the medals tables a couple of times we come second or third on the medal tables. After the Philippines and America, because they had more competitors. We had a relatively small team, but we had a great time. And then at the same time we was training in the Philippines, so we was going away from Dan Inosanto stuff, but still remembered that's where we started. You know what I mean? And we just graduated and doing this thing. And as I got older, I found that doing the kickboxing was a little bit harder to do because when you're in your 50s and 60s, hitting the bag and hitting the pads for a long time is it's a bit tiring. Whereas the stick is not too bad. You know what I mean? So we did well, and we took some teams to the Philippines, and we had a good reputation as a good, clean team. We did well, won loads of medals.
What do you call it? Harness, a screamer? Which do you like to call it?
Well, when we went to the Philippines, we used to say harness. And they said, what is harness? They used to say, fencing. But I think as more Europeans and Americans have gone to the Philippines, I mean, they call it Kali or Eskrima. I mean, like Ilustrísimo, they call it Kali Ilustrísimo, where they're based in Manila. And they do some MDN stuff as well. But we've always called it Harness Eskrima, and it seems to be okay with that. You know what I mean? But the first time we went to the Philippines, people say, Eskrima? What's that? And they say, do you mean fencing with a stick? And we said, yeah. They sort of realised it was like fencing with a stick. And I suppose that's from the Spanish origins, when the Spanish was there. But we always call it Kali or Harness or Scrim, and it seems to cover a wide spectrum. I know some guys say the Kali is the do-mog, the takedowns and locks and everything. But I teach a class, we teach stick, MDNs and the blade. We all incorporate it under the Kali Screamer title, you know what I mean? Because you can't really walk around the shopping centre with your sticks in your bag, and you can't really pull a knife out these days. So you've still got to do some MDNs against weapons, which is all part and parcel of the thing anyway,
What do you feel about a young person learning a screamer? What do you feel as though it can develop them when they can't take a stick out on a knife out on the street? What do you feel as though it could give a young person?
Yeah, no, I've taught young people. In fact, I'm teaching some young guys now. They're only 17 and 18, and I think what it teaches them it teaches them that this is a weapon, the knife, and they can do immense damage with it. So I think it's educating them about knife and, well, I say a stick, it could be a crowbar, it could be a piece of 4x2, that can actually hurt you. So I think you're giving us some realisation that if I pick up a knife, I'm going to do some damage. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to, I want to go to university, I want to go to college, I want to carry on. If I pick up a knife to do something, I'm going to be in big trouble. So I think the guys I'm teaching, some young guys, they're respecting the weapons as a weapon, but not as something to use. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was an old board that used to be very revered in the old days, and it was a board with, it said weapons de Moraland. Can you explain that to me?
No.
All right, okay.
I can't. I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
I know the one you mean now.
No, okay, that's fine. Where have you gone now with the your club now, and where you want to go with it?
Well, we're still teaching stick, MDRs, weapons, but also now we're in a new organisation called World Sport Harness. We was with WCAF, but WCAF seems to have a lot of political upheaval, so we've sort of, we leave you to it. And we started our own organisation, World Sport Harness. We've been to Poland for a European Championships. We've done a couple of championships in Great Britain, and in September of this year, we've got the World Sport Harness World Championships in Luton on the 20th, 21st and 22nd of September. Hopefully we've got teams coming from the Philippines, Europe, France, Spain, Italy, probably more European teams because it's easier to get to. We've had an inquiry from the Philippines. One guy from America said he's probably interested. So it's the very first World Championships we're doing, and it's in England, so that's a plus. But also we found that doing the sports side of it promotes the art as well.
Right.
Because there's not only guys, most of the guys that bring people to fight are instructors anyway. They're instructing in the traditional harness as well as doing the sports side of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, if you've got lots of young people in your club, they want to hit each other with a stick, put them in a suit of armour and let them have a fight, and let them become champions.
Yeah.
And what better to have 2 or 3 European champions or a world champion in your gym?
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah. You said something, and I'd just like to round up on this one, is there seemed to be a big change when Dan Inosanto came over.
Yeah, yeah.
What can you sort of like, in a nutshell, explain? Because you were there when that was there. And I'd love people to get that energy of what Dan did.
I tell you what it was. I went on this course in the hotel in London, and it was like, it was, how can I say, it was new. We'd been doing Wado-Ryu, which is very traditional, the katas and the things that we did in that. And it was Dan Inosanto on this sort of threw everything at us. We did MDNs, we did takedowns, we did sticks. We never held a weapon before. We did a little bit of knife. And as I've been to loads of Dan Inosanto seminars since, and they progress. And they do progress, from what the first ones you think, oh, I remember that and that one and that one. And you do I don't know if Dan Inosanto, that was his object, to progress it along the line. Because, look at the instructors he's got there, Bob Breen, Rick Young, Terry Barnett. These guys are top of the food chain. They are the best of the best. And they've been doing Dan Inosanto's stuff from the first time he came across. You can't knock these guys. Rick Young, Bob Breen. They're the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I sort of did that. But when I went to the Philippines, I wanted to get more into the stick.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I went away from Dan Inosanto. It's just that when I went, I thought, I like that. And we saw different styles. I thought, oh, that's for me.
Yeah.
You look at something and think, well, I think I could do that. And that's how it went. And I think I went away from the JKD, although I still teach JKD. People come up to me and say, do you teach JKD? Yeah, I do. I still teach that. Because I was with Bob for I think probably 20 odd years.
Yeah.
And I still teach JKD in the class, and I still teach some of the stuff that I learned from Dan Inosanto years ago. So what I learned was invaluable. You know what I mean? So I still incorporate it into some of the stuff because we've done so much of it. But I don't advertise my club as a JKD club because I'm definitely not in the same league as Bob or Terry Barnett and things like that, you know?
Yeah. John Harvey, thank you so much for your time.
No bother at all.
Thank you
It's
very
been
much.
an immense pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, mate.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.